As the March 31 deadline expired, Pakistan is set to begin deportations of Afghan Citizenship Card (ACC) holders from April 1. The Taliban-led Afghan government has called for restraint, requesting Pakistan to allow voluntary returns instead. UNHCR highlighted the presence of 1.52 million registered Afghan refugees in Pakistan, along with hundreds of thousands of ACC holders and undocumented individuals. Senior officials in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa have recommended delaying the process until April 10 due to Eid holidays, but no official word has come from Islamabad yet. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim shared that Pakistani investments in Malaysia have reached $397 million. After a phone call with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, both leaders reaffirmed their commitment to deeper economic and diplomatic ties. Shehbaz is scheduled to visit Malaysia on May 9. The leaders also discussed the Gaza crisis and exchanged Eid greetings, emphasizing mutual goodwill and cooperation. The Pakistan Meteorological Department or PMD has forecast hot and dry weather across most parts of Sindh for the next 3 days, with temperatures expected between 36 to 38 degrees Celsius and humidity peaking at 80% by Thursday. Karachi, which saw a cooler March, is now experiencing rising temperatures. Meanwhile, a 4.7 magnitude earthquake struck near Karachi on Eid day, with no major damage reported but jolts felt across some parts of Sindh and Balochistan. The powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake has devastated parts of Myanmar, killing at least 2,700 people and leaving thousands more injured or missing. The quake, the strongest in over a century, struck around lunchtime on Friday, flattening ancient pagodas and modern buildings alike. Aid agencies say the need for food, water, shelter, and medical support is urgent, particularly in Mandalay, near the quake's epicenter. But ongoing civil conflict and junta restrictions are hampering rescue and relief operations. Amnesty International has urged Myanmar's military to grant unimpeded humanitarian access, warning that delays could cost more lives. In a heartbreaking tragedy, 50 children and 2 teachers died when a preschool collapsed in the Mandalay region. Survivors, still shaken, are sleeping outdoors in fear of aftershocks. Meanwhile in Bangkok, Thailand, search and rescue teams continue efforts at the site of a collapsed skyscraper. 13 bodies have been recovered so far, with over 70 people feared trapped. Officials say substandard construction materials may have contributed to the collapse. With the death toll expected to rise past 3,000 in Myanmar, and rescue efforts racing against time in Bangkok, both countries are reeling from the quake's catastrophic impact. 9 Palestine Red Crescent medics, along with civil defense workers, went missing in Rafah, Gaza, on March 23, after their ambulances came under Israeli fire. A week later, their bodies were discovered in a shallow mass grave, buried with their emergency vehicles. International teams, including the UN and Red Cross, were blocked by Israeli forces for several days before gaining access to the site. Once there, they found evidence of direct attacks on clearly marked medical responders. 1 medic remains missing. The first ambulance came under fire while responding to victims in Rafah. When communication was lost, additional ambulances were sent for rescue, only for those teams to also be targeted. 8 PRCS medics, 5 civil defense workers, and 1 UN agency employee were later found dead. The UN says they were killed one after another and buried by Israeli bulldozers. Israel claims the deaths were not deliberate, alleging suspicious vehicle movement and the presence of militants among the responders. However, no evidence was provided. None of the victims matched the names given in Israeli statements. 1 body was reportedly found with bound hands. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies has condemned the killings. The UN and human rights organizations continue to demand accountability and protection for humanitarian workers.